Chapter 2.7 Yonamine and Bushi. Introduction. It is a true story that took place in Japan, wherein Yonamine Chiru, a beautiful, intelligent girl, marries Bushi after he defeats her in a wrestling match, which was the condition of her marriage. They live a happy married life, and an incident which took place makes Bushi realize that he should not underestimate anybody, especially a woman. Yonamine Chiru was the most admired girl in Okinawa. She was intelligent, tall, strong, big, and beautiful. And most important of all, she was so well trained in karate that no one could beat her. Students, the story revolves around a girl named Yonamine, who is intelligent, tall, strong, beautiful, and admired by everyone. She was very good at karate too. Students, it is a true story that took place in Japan. The story revolves around a girl named Yonamine. She was admired because of her intelligence, her well-built structure, her beauty, and most of all, she was a very good karate player. When it was time to get her married, her father, who was a rich merchant, began to worry. He loved his daughter and wanted her to be happy and well cared for. She was beautiful and she would inherit a fortune from him. But where, oh where, could he find a young man who would come forward to marry a woman who was stronger than him? So when it was time for her marriage, her dad was tensed, worried, because although he was a wealthy merchant, but still he couldn't find a match for his daughter who could as stronger as her. She is the only heir to her rich father's property. Her father wants to see her happily married, but she has got certain conditions about her marriage. Now let's see what was Yonamine's idea about her marriage. Yonamine had her own ideas about marriage. She declared firmly, "I will only marry a man who can beat me in a fair fight." So now friends, tell me, why was Yonamine was admired girl in Okinawa? Right, Yonamine was intelligent, tall, strong, big, and beautiful, and very good at karate. This made her the most admired girl in Okinawa. And what was Yonamine's idea about her marriage? Right, Yonamine had her own ideas about marriage. She had declared firmly that she would only marry a man who could beat her in a fair fight. So many young men came across the country. One of the first to ask for her hand was Kojo, who was actually bigger and stronger than Yonamine. He was so tall and well built that his hands were like shovel, and his legs resembled tree trunk. But he played foul, even as Yonamine was bowing to him in the customary sign of respect to one's opponent. He threw a punch at her, breaking the rules of the game. So what is meaning of foul? Foul means wicked or immoral, and customary means according to custom. Friends, actually in Japan and Korea, a slight bow when greeting each other and a deeper bow in more formal situations is still considered appropriate. However, in China, the handshake has actually become a common greeting with only a slight head nod rather than the traditional bow. Yonamine was angry. She caught hold of his arm and twisted it so powerfully that the unsupportive Kojo fell down in a heap and had to limp away, defeated. So, who was the first young man to ask Yonamine's hand, and why was he rejected? Right, Kojo. A tall and well built man was the first to ask Yonamine's hand. He was rejected because he played foul with her in a contest of martial arts. And how did Yonamine defeat Kojo? Kojo broke the rules of the game by throwing a punch at Yonamine. In anger, she twisted his arm so powerfully that he fell down and he was defeated. Many promising young wrestlers tried their hand, but Yonamine defeated them all. Her father was in despair. Despair means sad, very sad. Young men wanted to marry girls who would cook and wash and make tea for their husbands, who would marry a girl who enjoyed wrestling. Bushi was just such a man. He had trained under the karate master Sakugawa. He proved to be such an expert that he recruited by Shoko, the king of Okinawa, to be his personal guard. His friends said to Bushi, "You should take on the challenge of this girl Yonamine. She may be big, but you are stronger and smarter than her." Bushi too was keen to marry a girl like Yonamine. He did not want a delicate, fragile girl for a wife. Fragile means thin. So he didn't want a delicate, thin, weak girl for a wife. Yonamine was impressed at the sight of her new challenger. She had heard that he was one of King Shoko's personal warrior. He was tall and slim. He stood firmly on his feet and seemed unshakable. Above all, he had dark, piercing eyes which looked straight at the opponent and showed that he was fearless and straightforward. So, who was Bushi? Bushi was an expert karate player and the personal guard of Shoko, the king of Okinawa. How the writer describes Kyo's features? Kyo was tall and slim with dark, piercing eyes and appeared fearless. The wrestling match began. Yonamine and Bushi bowed to each other and then began to attack each other in earnest. Earnest means reality, seriousness. They punched, kicked, and twisted using their best techniques. It looked as if the match was going to be a tie. Nobody winning, nobody losing. But at a crucial moment in the fight, Yonamine paused. Ever so briefly, Bushi took advantage of the moment and brought her down with a swift punch. Yonamine's father was a very happy man. Bushi and Yonamine were married in a splendid ceremony. It was a happy marriage. Yonamine was kind and loving. She cooked and cleaned and kept the house spick and span. One day when she was sweeping the kitchen, Bushi saw her lift a huge bag of rice with her left hand as she swept beneath the bag with her right hand. He grew thoughtful. Is she really so strong? And yet I brought her down with one punch? One day Yonamine announced that she would like to visit her parents. "I will leave in the evening and return the next day. in time to cook your dinner. She said to her husband. You should not travel during the night, Bushi said to her firmly. There are bandits about. It is just not safe for a girl, woman, to go out alone after it is dark. My dear husband, you forgot that you married a trained wrestler, Yonamine said to him with a smile. Don't forget that I threw you down flat on the ground, said Bushi. You are not unbeatable. Don't worry, said Yonamine. Bandits are not as skilled as you are. I can take care of myself. Bushi was not pleased. She is overconfident, he thought to himself. She must be taught a lesson for her own good. What happened next? What lesson did Bushi learn at the end of the day? We will see that in our next video. Till then, stay safe, stay blessed. Thanks for watching.